This is Arika, and this quick tutorial is to show you how to do Parker on the Porch Rivet Keyfob using the embroidery machine. Let's do it. This is Arika, and today's quick tutorial is going to show you how I made the Parker on the Porch strap that she has. She has a couple straps on her website, but I'm going to show you this particular one. I'm going to alter it just a little bit, the Parker on the Porch strap, because I don't want to put the circles for step number 2 because I found that it was a little tight for my hand. So I altered just a little bit. I just skipped step 2. That's all I did. And then I put my own hose and I put some hardware. So you're going to need some vinyl or whatever material you want to use. I'm using vinyl. I have some red and white. And then I'm going to use a type of cutter, some type of cutter to put the holes in. And then I'm going to use 2 pieces of hardware. This one here, this is the swivel hook, and I'm going to use a rivet. Now you can use any type of rivet that you want. You can use a regular rivet, but I am going to use one that has a stone like this. And then I'm going to set it with this machine here, my rivet press. You could definitely use the traditional one where you stamp it with like this. Let's see, do I have it in here? No, I showed it in my last video. I will show it shortly. So we're going to start by first hooping the 6x10 hoop. So let me gather some of the things off the table. I'm going to be using my 6x10 hoop on my NQ1700e. I could not use my P800 on this one. The strap length is a little bit too long, so you have to have a bigger hoop. I'm going to use a piece of tearaway that I had on a roll. And I'm going to be looking for my arrows because that needs to match up at the top of the hoop. And I'm going to take this part down here and just twirl it a little bit. Tighten it up. The first thing it's going to do is a placement stitch here. And then I will be able to match up my fabric against that placement stitch, but I'll have to do it on the front and on the back side at the same time. There's only 2 steps I'm going to use. Step 1 and step 3, because I'm going to skip step 2, and I'll show you why. I'm going to go ahead and prep it. So I'm going to do step 1 and step 3. The first step is step 1 for the placement. It's the only thing I'm going to do right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now that it's in, I am going to, and normally I don't do white on white, but I didn't want to switch my thread out again because I'm going to use this red and the white is going to be on there. So I'm just going to not rethread. But if you have a hard time seeing, I would use a different color. This is going to take maybe about a minute, less than a minute. As that was going, I was looking, and I want to check my embroidery foot height, because I did alter it. I did. Let me change that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to skip step 2. I'm going to go in here and move it. Now, we're going to do step 3, but first I'm going to show you how to put your fabric onto the front and the back, so you can do step 3. Okay, for the first, I'm going to do the back. I'm going to flip it over, so whatever color you want on the back side of your project. So I'm going to cover that with white. And so I have this long rectangular shape, and it needs to cover all of that. And I'm going to cut this. You don't need a lot of fabric. This one is the skinny strap. So I'm just going to get a little bit. And then I'm actually going to make sure I have a little bit room up here, a little bit room at the bottom. I'm going to cut the rest off. You can use regular Scotch tape. I use painter's tape. It seems to stick better for me when I do the back side. And I want to make sure it sticks and holds down and it does not move. Okay, and then I'm going to do that to the other side. I'm going to press this down here and down here, because sometimes as it moves under my machine, it catches and then it starts peeling. Alright, so that, and now that I'm looking, it's covering it like I want it to. Let me fix that. I got a little off, so let's see. Let me just look first. So as you can see here, if you hold it up, you can kind of see it. If my thread was a different color, it would show better. But I could see it. Alright, so that is the back side, and I'm going to do the front side the same way. Gonna get a strip and make sure it's over. I'm gonna cut a little bit off because I want my tape to go all the way and hold it down. All right, so I'm gonna put this over the strip, and I'm gonna use my painter's tape again. My phone died just as I was putting the tape on the other side, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It's the same on both sides. So I'm now going to put it back on the machine, and I'm going to run step 3. Now you can run step 2 at this time. And actually step 2 is the dots, and I think you do that before you put the back side. Yes. So if you wanted the little circles, you would do the vinyl first on the top and not at the bottom. At the bottom on the 3rd step. But I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it where I don't do the circles. I skip step 2 and I'm going to run step 3. And we're just making sure that it fits my arm a little bit better. So if you like this way, this is how I do it. You can definitely do it the other way. And what it's going to do now is just do the stitching, the decorative stitching around to hold both pieces together. I'm going to get closer for you. This is a 3-minute project as far as the stitching goes. It's 2 minutes because I'm doing step 1 and step 3. So each step is 1 minute long. So this is supposed to be a 2-minute stitch out. as far as the embroidery piece is concerned, that is done. I'm going to go over and finish it up on the table. So once you finish doing the 2 steps or the 3, whichever one you decide to do, I did the 2. You just remove your tape. I'm going to just place that on my table because I am going to reuse it. And then I'm going to remove it from the hook. And then I'm just going to tear off the extra and make sure it's pulling in the inside. And we're going to get the other side. Try to get as much as you can. Okay. I'm gonna look and see if I got most of it. I like to pull it before I cut because then it will be really small, because I like to get close to the stitch line. So I'm just going in here and making sure I got as close to the stitching as I could with getting the tearaway out. I'm gonna look on both sides. There's a little extra there. All right. And then I'm going to use these tear pieces maybe on my little hoops. All right, so now you have this. And what I like to do is take a ruler. You can use it, you can eyeball it, but I'm going to take a ruler and get as close as I can to the edge to make it line up. I get kind of close. You can make it thicker. Let's see. So this one here, I forgot the little hardware when I did the other tutorial, so I had to scrap it. So you see how that is close there. Let me see if I got any closer. Yes, this one. This one was even closer. So it just depends on how you want to do yours. All right, so I'm gonna get close. And I like to press down. See how that moves just then? I like to press down as I'm cutting. I'm going to use a rotary cutter. You could use scissors by all means. I just know that when I do scissors, it doesn't look as clean cut. I'm going to try to press down, put my weight, and press. And slide across. Alright, so I have one side done. I'm going to turn it over and do the other side. Press down, put my weight, because I don't want the ruler to move. Most times these tiny little strips I throw away, but I don't know. I may keep them. All right, so now I do take scissors, and then this little edge at the top, I just round it off. So I'm just going to take it. And round that off, and I'll clean that up in a second. I'm going to round this off. That's where your cutter comes in there to put a hole. You could use a crocodile. You could use a rivet press because they have cutters, but I'm just going to use this plier thing here. Let me clean that up. I'm just going to take some applique scissors and just get close to that. Kind of clean that up on the front and the back. So now that I have that piece ready, I'm going to go ahead and get my hardware ready. I am going to be using a rivet press, and I'm going to be using a 1-inch swivel hook. And I'm also going to use one of these rivets. Alright. So what happens here with the strip, if you had the holes, you would just take and punch the holes where Jen has it outlined on your fabric. But for me, because I want it to be a little bit bigger, I'm going to make my holes like this. So I'm going to fold it in fold it to make this design, and then I'm going to punch the hole. Okay, now that you have your strip ready, you're going to turn it over the bottom side, and the base of your swivel hook where the flat side is, I'm going to just stick that in like that. And then I'm going to fold this up. I'm trying to take as less space, because the more I go in, the less space I have for my wrist to go in. So I'm going to get a little space like that. And then I'm going to take this part and fold it over. And this is where my hole is going to go. All right, so I'm going to take my pliers. I'm using the second hole on my pliers. You could use any punching device. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to try to go midway. So I am eyeballing it. So if you have troubles with that, you could just use step 2, but your wristlet will be a little bit smaller for your wrist to go in. And I'm just going to punch a hole midway. All right. I'm going to lift that up, and now I have a hole all the way through. So now I'm going to take my rivet press and my rivet. I have this rivet here. I'm going to stick that inside and make sure it goes through all. You want it to go all the way through as much as it can. This one's a little thick. I'm going to take the back side of the rivet. I'm going to place it and actually my rivet should be in the front without the loop. The loop where the back side is, I shouldn't see it loop up. So I'm going to do that like that. I guess it could be your preference, but I'm going to put this ribbon in the front here and push it all the way through as much as you can, because you want it to you want it to catch it and not pull out. And then I'm going to stick the back side of the rivet. All right, so I'm going to press it with the rivet press and try to make sure that it snapped a little bit. All right, so I'm going to take this one here, came off of Amazon. I'm going to lift this piece here, and I'm going to lift this piece here. Now I already have my 8 rivet press dies in. So if you haven't used a die before with the rivet, you can check out my other video and it shows you how to use this. All right, so I'm going to press this down. All right, and there's it pressed in. So now my hand comes in and out a little bit easier. Not as tight. You probably hear my kids in the background. Now before, when I made the other one, I could not get my hand in this one. It was a struggle. So this one at least gives you just a little bit more room. So that's how you do the rivet press with these straps, and skipping step 2 just to have a little bit more room. You could not skip it and have a little less room, but this tutorial shows you how to have a little bit more room. If you have any questions, let me know. This is the strap, the rivet strap from Parker on the Porch. This is Arika Place with Arika Made. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial.
Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.